Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome from me, Felix van Delft, and my co-commentator Dave Paling to the 10th round of the Formula SimRacing World Championship. Today we are racing at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium, of course, which is, in my opinion, one of the best circuits we have on the calendar. And let's see how these drivers are gonna cope on this track. We are 5 minutes into qualifying, and Dave, what you
Well, interestingly, Felix, you're saying how the drivers are going to cope about the track. And by the way, hello everybody, and welcome back to Formula Sim Racing after our summer break. The interesting thing I've seen from the practice session is a different direction from a number of teams regarding the setups of their cars. Yerny Simoncic is sitting on pole position at the moment with a fantastic lap time of a 1:43.9. I will be honest, I've seen him go quicker. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But the interesting thing from practice that I'm touching on with the setup is all about aerodynamics. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, we know it's a phenomenal racetrack, apart from yesterday for Felix and today for myself. We love it, apart from those 2 days. But it's a track where high speed is key, but you need the grip in Sector 2. So Yerny Simoncic looks like he's perhaps gone for a little bit less aeros compared to the likes of Daniel Kish, who is sitting in second place at the moment. To put it into perspective, in practice, Daniel Kish was about 7 kilometers an hour slower on the straights, but almost half a second faster through Sector 2. However, until Yerny put in a 44.1, there was only less than half a tenth of a gap between them on overall lap time. So two different directions of setup, similar qualifying lap time. We'll see how it pans out for the rest of these 13 minutes, but also how it's going to pan out in the race, Felix, because qualifying is only one minor part of the Grand Prix here this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a 44 lap race, and everything is still to be fought for. I mean, qualifying, of course, you are gonna get your grid position with that, but compared to circuits like Magny-Cours and circuits we are going to drive at next race, Hungary, for example. As we see Risto Kappert making a cut at Pouhon, surely he's going to abandon that lap, or he has to, or it's going to be invalidated. But what I was going to say, overtaking is not going to be as difficult here, because you have that two massive straights, Camel Straight, and of course the straight coming to Blanchimont and then breaking into the bus stop chicane, where you can make some good overtaking moves if you have that aero setup. Of course, it's gonna depend how low your wing are, or how high your wings are. I mean, Yerny Simoncic is definitely gonna have it a little bit easier overtaking, but if he's already on the front row, it's gonna be easier for him to defend from other drivers attacking him on the slipstream. But we are gonna have to see what is going to happen with that.
We definitely are. Now, Mohamed Patel is out there on track at the moment, although it looks like he's just putting multiple laps in right now. So, Felix, we'll see if we can spot somebody on lap there. Eros Masciuli has done a 30.7 in Sector 1. He's looks like he's doing okay for himself right now. Michele D'Alessandro has actually taken pole position, though. But yeah, it looks like Mohamed Patel is just putting a number of laps in. Now, there are a few of the Formula Sim Racing drivers that have been very busy in World's Fastest Gamer recently, and we do have a couple of absentees today that I believe are taking part in World Fastest Gamer at some point today. I've personally not been keeping up on it. So the likes of Michi Hoyer and Martin Stefanko, they're not around unfortunately today, but Mohamed Patel is the championship leader and he's still here in Spa to fight. However, he does have a 5-place grid penalty to be applied to wherever he qualifies.
Yeah, it's interesting, of course. I need to give a shout out to our friends at Sim News TV. They just finished their pre-race World Championship show on their YouTube channel. If you missed it, make sure to check it out after the stream. I saw some bits of it. Fortunately, couldn't see everything of it, but from what I saw, it looked like a pretty good show. Michi Hoyer was also joined with them, taking some look at the championship and how it's going so far with the drivers. And it was pretty good fun to watch, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too, the people that watched it. And maybe we can make it a regular thing, but we're gonna have to see about that. At the moment, Michele D'Alessandro leading the qualifying session. on his outlap at the moment.
Florian Becker is about to complete a lap. He's 10th up on his previous best, which has put him into 8th place, and he's going to jump up a couple of positions into 5th.
Yeah, good qualifying lap there from the Dutch driver.
We have a number of cars exiting the pits as well, at least 3, an ACR and 2 Ghost Speed drivers, so track's going to get very busy soon.
Actually quite interesting to see here. Florian Becker is continuing his outlap as his teammate is right behind him in the slipstream, but Martin has just started his lap. Flag to flag here, executing a slipstream strategy, giving the advantage to Martin Gosby here in the slipstream, and then Florian Becker exit his car to get ready for another hot lap, but by doing that, he's given about 2-3 tenths to Martin Gosby here on the straight.
They weren't the only ones. James Sadler's just got a slipstream off another Ghost Speed driver. I think he may have been Yerny Simoncic. And James Sadler's just done a 30.6 Sector 1 time, which I think might be purple. I'll check. Not quite purple, but it's damn fast.
Yeah, that's great to see some teamwork going on here. Tactics, of course, as I said, the Camel Straight is so long and you can gain quite a lot with slipstreaming. And the team's trying to get every bit of time out of here in the qualifying session. So Gosby, 2 blue sectors. First sector was okay. Second sector seems to be pretty quick, not as quick as Michele D'Alessandro though. So let's see what he can do in that last sector. It's gonna be crucial for him. Now coming up to the bus stop chicane, braking right at the 100 meter board, turning it in nicely on the inside curb, and on the power again. Looks to be a fairly good bus stop chicane executed there. 44.448 for Martin Gosby. Puts him in 5th place for now, just in front of his teammate Florian Becker.
James Sadler, clever little fella, apologies if he's not actually small, but clever little fella. He not only did he get a slipstream down Camel Straight, he got a slipstream heading down to Blanchimont as well. Put himself into 7th place. But Michele D'Alessandro, he's been through Sector 1 purple, 30.5. We may have to jump on board with him and see how he gets on.
He just quit. Quit his lap. Let's see if I can find what happened to Michele. Michele D'Alessandro, he was off track actually. So, yeah, I think he made a mistake somewhere. Let's see if we can get the replay. Here we go. No, this surely wasn't it. It was his outlap. So, I don't exactly know what happened. But, seems like he made some sort of mistake.
Well, I mean, this is a circuit where it is so long, it is so easy to make one tiny mistake and your whole lap is gone. Oh, and as I say that, Yerny Simoncic has just had that exact issue heading down into no name. Yeah, I mean, it's a circuit where you can have an absolutely perfect lap and then you get to the bus stop chicane, you lose half second. It's that cruel of a racetrack.
Yeah, it's really difficult to get a good lap in here at Spa-Francorchamps. It's a quite long track.
We've got another slipstream tag team going on. Daniel Kish on the back of Mohamed Patel. He's tagged the back of him.
Well, that's how not to do slipstreaming. Let's see if I can get a replay of that. Right, here we go. Replay of that coming in. Here we go. So, Patel was right in front of his teammate Daniel Kish. Kish really close to the bumper, and indeed he touches the car of Patel there. Patel goes wide into Eau Rouge, but definitely, yeah, horribly gone wrong there for Daniel Kish. Probably a little bit of miscommunication between the teammates.
Definitely. Okay, gap between Michele D'Alessandro and Yerny Simoncic then is 0.06 of a second. It's a tiny, tiny margin, and we have a second covering the top 14 drivers. That is absolutely phenomenal. Michele D'Alessandro, though, he is setting himself up to start another flying lap as he's just heading into the bus stop chicane now.
Yeah, Michele looking very strong here so far. Journey not able to really get in front of him just yet, but of course still 4.5 minutes remaining. And Journey still has 2 laps remaining, or has he? Yeah, he's got 2 laps remaining, I believe.
Yes, he has. So Michele D'Alessandro then heading down to Eau Rouge. Absolutely phenomenal corner. Easy, flat out in these cars. but only once the tyres are up to temperature. A little bit of a wiggle for D'Alessandro there. What's his top speed looking like? It's only just creeping to 328 kilometres an hour. 29
actually, yep.
Yeah,
29.1 on the
in
clock.
comparison to Simricic, that's about 7 kilometres an hour slower, and it's a 31.0 sector 1 time, so half a second down. Maybe he's just not happy with that sector 1, but perhaps it's all in sector 2 where he's finding it, heading down into No Name. Beautiful little corner, but such a tricky little beast. You make one tiny mistake there, you end up in the barriers, and then poo on absolute confidence you need through this corner that the car can handle it, and it's handled quite nicely for Michele. Quick right left chicane now. It's an awkward corner, this one, Felix, because it tempts you to take way too much speed on entry, but if you do, you get caught out on exit, don't you?
Yeah, you definitely do. It's especially in sector 2, you need that flow, you need that rhythm. And if you miss one corner, you're gonna miss the next one too, and maybe the next one after that too. So you really need to make sure you get the first entry right, so you can get a good exit out of it and get entry to the next corner right as well. So Michele, not really looking for an improvement unless his last sector is really good. Let's see, coming out of the bus stop chicane now. What is it going to be? 144.477, almost half a second slower, even more than half a second.
Sadler is improving, I believe. He's done a 30.5 sector 1. Sector 2's been looking quite nice and tidy. He's got one corner to go until sector 2 is complete. Heading now towards Curve Paul Frere, or Stavelot, and then Curve Paul Frere. Oh, he's just up on his previous best. Yeah, sector 2's not the fastest for James at the moment. The run down to the bus stop, easy, flat out, got to pick at your braking point, get it absolutely spot on. Any kind of a lock-up's going to cost you lap time there, and then when you apply the power, you need to have confidence that the car can handle it. Is he going to improve? No, he doesn't. Loses half a second.
In that last sector. Yeah, I saw him sliding a little bit into the bus stop chicane. Probably lost a bit of time there. Let's see, Martin Gosby got a very good first sector in, only just a little bit slower than Michele D'Alessandro. Let's see what he can do in the second sector. Throws it into Poelhorn. Flag to flag, has a new livery. Looking nice here on the car of Martin Gosby. Looking really stable. Maybe a little bit on the understeer side. But maybe that also means in the race that they will maybe have a little bit less rear tire wear and will have it a little bit easier to keep the car under control under the acceleration areas. But of course, we are just talking from the outside and don't really know much about the drivers. Let's see, Martin Gosby gets some slipstream from the Muster driver in front. Now braking for the bus stop. Little bit of understeer on the turn in. Misses the exit. No, not really. On the power he goes. What is it going to be? 44.196. Enough for a 4th position. 1/100th of a second slower than Eros Masciuli.
Daniel Kish has just started a flying lap, and I'm pretty sure that that's Mohamed Patel in front of him as he heads down to Eau Rouge. We saw what happened last time. Are they trying it again? Are they going to get it a little bit better on this occasion? Kish is just far enough behind. Is he going to catch him too soon? Nah, I think he'll still benefit enough. But this goes to show perhaps that Musto have realised they haven't got the top speed and they need to do something a little extra. What's the sector time going to be? It's a 30.5. Phenomenal sector time that is, and let's see, Jurni Simicic has just matched that as well.
Yeah, indeed, only 0.02 of a second slower compared to Daniel Kish. So this is gonna be a little fight out between the two drivers. They are well, pretty close to each other on track. Let's see, Daniel Kish is going to be the first going through Poelhorn. Throws it in there. You can see these cars stick so well to the road, even with relatively low downforce on the car on this track here at Spa, but just sticks to the road so nicely. Here we go, Daniel Kish, second sector, 45.181, purple second sector. He is about to set a fastest lap if he continues this pace. Last sector is going to be crucial for him.
It definitely is. Simičić made a hash of his lap, unfortunately. So what can Daniel Kish do? Into the bus stop. He's got to get this absolutely perfect.
Missed
and
the inside
like
curves a little bit.
He has, but it doesn't disadvantage you too much. Oh, maybe just took, well...
0.02 of a second slower.
Okay, maybe it was 0.02 of a second slower being that far away for the apex, but I don't think he'll be too fussed about that.
Yeah. Well, maybe he is. Or sister teammate of Michele D'Alessandro, so won't be too mad about it. But I think he would have liked to be on pole position. He doesn't have any tries left. Michele D'Alessandro still has 1 try left, but the time's up, so no way that's going to happen.
Sorry, Eros Masciuli looks like he's getting one hell of a tow here. I don't know if the car ahead is helping. Yeah, they move out of the way quite late.
Patel.
So Patel looking like he's the slipstream statistician today, the guy to go to. Yeah. Ask for a bit of help and you'll get it. But it's not benefited Masciuli that much. He's a 10th down on his previous best sector 1.
Yeah, he is. Sliding a lot on the rear. Now throws it into Poelhorn. Back on the power again. Second sector gonna be really important for Eros if he wants to improve his time, because he's already almost a 1,000th or a 10th of a second slower in sector 1. Let's see. Exit there into Stavolo wasn't the best and also loses time in the second sector. I don't think this is going to be enough for Eros Masciuli. Unless this last sector is going to be really epic. Florian Becker is also still on a lap, improving himself by actually quite a bit in sector 2. Really nice sector 2 time, and Eros Masciuli goes into the pit lane. So let's stick with Florian Becker. He is coming to the final corner now. A little bit of drifting there out of the final corner. Is that gonna help him or not? It's not gonna help him. Not really, actually. Stays in 7th place. No improvement of his time. And the only guy still on track, Martin Gosby, but he just quit to the pit lane as well.
Yeah, it was an odd one, that, because he was on an out lap, I believe. But we're out of time. That'd be why. We're out of time in the qualifying session. Those 20 minutes have gone rather quick.
Yeah, they have definitely gone rather quick. So yeah, qualifying over. Michele D'Alessandro on pole position with a 1:43.915. Good lap time if you compare to the pro guys earlier today. Dave, I think you have more information about that. I don't know exactly by the top of my head.
Sorry, I wasn't listening then. I was reading some messages on YouTube. What would you ask me?
The pro pole time from earlier today.
Pro pole time, I believe, was a 1:44.6.
Yeah, let's see. Michael Ayres a 1:44.6. So this is almost 8 tenths, even more than 8 tenths or 7 tenths, sorry, quicker than the guys in pro are doing. That just shows you the comparison of pace here in the World Championship. Now the warm-up has started. Drivers now preparing themselves for the higher fuel loads. Refueling is enabled in this season, so the drivers won't take more than 100 liters in a tank unless they really go for an odd strategy. But I would expect drivers to have about 70 to maybe 90 liters max in the tank at the start of the race. Depends on what tires they're starting, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think we're going to see anybody doing a one-stop strategy here. I mean, the option tyre, you're looking at, you probably could get 15 laps out of them. And these WC guys, I think they could perhaps easily get 15 laps out of them. But then getting, 29 laps out of the prime tyre, maybe, but I think carrying that much fuel in the car, it'd just be so much quicker to have a lighter fuel load, go for a 2-stop and attack it in that way. Interestingly though, because Ace was wet yesterday, none of the Pro or WC drivers really got to see any sort of pure pace from from the Ace guys because of the wet qualifying session, and or have a look at what strategies were like. And I would quickly like to just apologise as well for the problems with the live stream yesterday in Ace, and hopefully we'll have the rest of the footage that was recorded available for you as soon as possible. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, Felix, that nobody was able to look at Ace and go, I know, that's what I'll do, or I won't do that, it didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, normally the WC guys especially do take a look at Ace. I mean, it is the basically the runner-up series of the World Championship, and a lot of drivers at the top, including Sander Callas and, well, I dare to say myself. But
yeah, yourself, yeah.
Are pretty quick, and I think would maybe even get close to the top 10 here in the World Championship grid. So World Championship drivers are looking at that, of course, normally, but no, they didn't really have data. Maybe if it's gonna rain, then they might have some advantage, but don't really see that happening here, as the weather forecast seems pretty clear to me.
I believe hopefully it will be. I mean, something else. I mean, okay, the guys haven't had Ace to look at yesterday, but obviously people know that we've had the summer break. And the summer break tends to work, it can work in a number of ways for drivers, I think. There will be some people that have sat there for the last 2 months and done nothing but practice Spa. There'll be others that have had a complete break from it. There'll be others that have gone on holiday. People will have approached this race in a number of different ways, and then you've got things like World's Fastest Gamer that's crept in to spice things up as well. So I don't know if everybody's necessarily fully prepared as they would normally be for this race, or got as much knowledge as they would usually like to have about race distances, tyre life and things like that. But I mean, these guys, they're the cream of the crop, so I'd expect them to comfortably get through without any issues, as long as they don't have to count how many laps they need to do in qualifying.
Exactly. They seem to have a little bit of problems with counting the laps sometimes. But Dave, let's take a look at the championship standings, shall we?
Yeah, why not?
So let's get these animations on the screen. The driver standings first. Would you like to go through them, or would you want me to go through them?
I shall let you go through them, Felix.
All right, well, let's do that. So here we go. The Drivers' Championship at this moment in time. It's being led by Mohamed Pastel still by a good 70 points. So gonna be difficult for the second driver on that list, Martin Gosby, to catch up to him. Maybe, who knows, Mohamed Patel has or is going to start from the back of the race. And I think there even was a little bit of controversial things going on in the pre-race show, with Michi Hoyer saying that Patel, if he does want to do World Fastest Gamer, shouldn't be racing here. So I don't know exactly what is going to happen with Patel. So maybe an opportunity for Martin Gosby to get closer, but of course also for Journey Simocic. Journey Simocic is looking quite quickly here in Spa, and of course he is only 19 points behind Martin Gosby. So he might be able to capitalize on that a little bit as well. Daniel Kish then in 4th. Michi Hoyer not driving today in 5th. Also not too far away. Then Eros Marshuli in 6th. Martin Stefanko also not driving today in 7th with 43 points. Michele D'Alessandro, your pole position man for today, 38 points, is in 8th place. Then in 9th it is Lars Bruckmann. Haven't seen him in a little while. I believe he actually retired from the FSR season, and Volpo Racing is still looking for drivers. So if you are watching right now and think you can beat all these World Championship drivers easily, maybe Volpo still has a seat for you. And then rounding up the top 10, also a driver that I believe has retired for at least for now in this season, Daniel Brewer with 27 points. So now let's take a look at the constructor standings. Here we go. So in the teams Of course, Muster Racing also leading the championship with 281 points. A fair amount, good lead compared to Flag Prem GP. They only have 160 points, so that is 121 points lead there Muster Racing have. I think they're almost even getting close to getting the Constructors' Championship closed. I would have to do the math on that later in the season, but probably they're pretty set to get that Constructors' title. Then in third it is Avid Chronic Racing at the moment with 122 points. And then Go Speed Racing with 108. And then it is Thrustmaster Twister Racing in 5th place with 83 points. Then we've got Stormcharge Vopu Racing in 6th place with 49 points. And then Netrex Racing with 28 points. Invictus Motorsports with 27, pretty close to Netrex, but they might be able to gain some points here. Then in 9th it is Go Speed Engineering. In 10th VB Madcape. And in 11th it's Born to Win with 10 points.
Fantastic stuff there. I was just having a quick look at Michele D'Alessandro's sort of FSR history, because I wanted to see how often he's actually had a pole position in the World Championship, and it's actually his 3rd pole position, I believe. As long as we got that right, that D'Alessandro is on pole. We know what we're like, Felix. But yeah, so his 3rd pole position in the World Championship. It would be fantastic to see if he could turn it into a victory, because that is one thing that he has not managed to do yet.
Yeah, he has not managed to do that so far, so maybe he will be able to do that today. Starting from the pole position, it's going to be difficult. As I said, the overtaking is not very difficult on the Camel Straight and into the bus stop chicane on this track. So we will have to see how that all pans out. For now, I think we are just going to take a little break. We will be right back with you, and we will probably be on the starting grid getting ready to get the race rolling. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Warm-up session has just ended, and the drivers are now really getting hyped up to start this race. Fastest in the warm-up session, Michele D'Alessandro as well, 146.232. Of course, we don't know how hard he was pushing his tires on that lap, or even what fuel load he was taking. Maybe he was just trying to scare the opposition by taking a little bit of a lower fuel load.
Yeah, definitely could be. I mean, I know in Pro earlier today, I didn't want anyone to see what my top speed was. So for the whole of the practice session before qualifying, I was lifted off down the straight thinking, don't give it away, don't give it away, don't give it away. Not that it helped me much in the qualified or the race, but they're sometimes the kind of things that drivers might do. So Michele may have less fuel. You may have more fuel. The drivers may have over fuel for the warm-up session, or lifted off in certain places just to take it a little bit easy, play a little bit of a mind game if possible, because at the end of the day we're racing drivers, and we'll play all the games we can.
Yeah, definitely. So we are into the race session now. The drivers will be lining up on their grid slots. Florian Becker is the first to do so. I think he's very eager to get this race going, starting from 6th place. Has some good potential, but of course I think the driver to watch for today is going to be Journey Simocic. With that low wing setting on his Ghost Speed car, going to be able to overtake Daniel Kish and Michele D'Alessandro in front of him. You will have to see.
Well, I mean, it's a good point you make. I mean, we all know Spa. We all know that, yeah, Spa, great. Be on pole position, great. Good chance, though, if you're on pole, you're not going to be in first or second by the time you get to Les Combes. Because if the guys behind have got enough straight line speed, they're going to hunt you down and pass you.
Yeah, they definitely are going to try that. Alright, so the formation lap is about to get going. Dave, would you be so kind to take us through the grid here?
I would love to. So, taking his third pole position in the World Championship, we have Michele D'Alessandro. He's had some good races this season. It'll be interesting to see how he does today. He has been getting progressively better and better. In second place, we have Daniel Kish. He's had some very strong races as of late, and if Patel is going to be having a short event here, then it's all on Kish to take as many points as they can in Musto. In third, we have Journey Simocic. He may feel the fight for the title is out of grasp, but here is a massive opportunity for him. In fourth place, we have Eros Masciuli, teammate to Michele D'Alessandro. If he's got decent straight line speed, we could find teammates up at the front early on. In fifth place, we have Martin Gosby, one driver I've really been impressed by this season, getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Look out for him going longer than anybody when it comes to pit stops. In sixth place, we have his teammate Florian Becker. These two have been working very well together. In seventh place, we have Risto Capit. One thing you can guarantee about him is we'll probably see him take a few chances in places. In eighth place, we have James Sadler. I think that may be one of his better qualifying positions of the season. He'll be hoping for better luck than he had at quite a few other races this season. In ninth, we have Francisco Lopez, a new driver to me, I believe. So I've no idea how he'll get on. We'll have to wait and see.
Might be the same guy as Fran Lopez.
Fran Lopez, might be. Make your name longer, confuses me. That's how you do it. Giordano Valeriano is in 10th place. So all the guys in the top 10, they'll be on the option tyres. We've then got Dominic Wasienko for Storm Charge Vod Bull. He is new and he's on the prime tyre. And then we've got in 12th place, we've got Camille Wieswa. He's gone for the options by the looks of things. He's followed by Robin Pansar in 13th place on primes. And then we have John Eric Saxon. We've seen him do very well from quite far down the grid on prime tyres at the start of races recently. See how he gets on here. In 15th, we have De Woldnell sitting in for a Born to Win. And in 16th place, we have Jos Araneda. 17th, we have an Eric Andre in as a reserve driver, I believe, in Invictus Motorsport. And in 18th place, we have Jan van der Heide. He also a new driver in for Michi Hoyer or Martin Stefanko. I'll clarify that as soon as I can. Mohamed Patel in the pit lane and Adam Maguire starting 20th.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dave, for going through that whole grid. Got 20 drivers lining up in their grid slots. Right about now, Michele is already in his spot, getting forward as much as he possibly can to try and get the best run into the first corner. So, all the drivers lining up behind. The lights are going on. It is 5 lights and we are racing here at the Belgian Grand Prix, round 10 of the Formula SimRacing World Championship. It is a good start for Journey Simocic, already on the inside of Daniel Kish and already in front of Daniel Kish before the end of the run up to our Rouge. So who is gonna have the best run up our Rouge? Is Journey Simocic going to have that slipstream on Michele D'Alessandro? Here we go, watching from the car of Daniel Kish. Journey Simocic already passed actually before the braking zone into Les Combes, and Journey Simocic into the lead of this race already before the end of Sector 1.
An absolutely fantastic start to the race there. As I mentioned, you can be on pole position, but it doesn't mean you'll be in first place when you get to Les Combes. Eros Masciuli and Fran Lopez side by side. Fran Lopez just manages to squeeze through. There was a bit of contact at the start as well, because I noticed that Adam Maguire managed to go from 19th up to 15th early on, and I believe an Eric Andre has got a damaged front wing.
Yes, that is, I believe, correct. Yes, he is missing some wing end plates, so some contact has been made there in the beginning of the starts. Let's keep focusing on the lead back here, though, for now, because it's still very close. I'm watching at the moment James Sadler, Giordano Valeriano, and Camille Wiswa all very close. And of course, Giordano is gonna have that slipstream from the car in front of him. James Sadler doesn't really have the slipstream that Jorda has on him on the car in front, Florian Becker. Ooh, as I just saw on the background there, John-Eric Saxon goes wide into the bus stop chicane and takes out Camille Wiswa there. What happened there? John-Eric Saxon totally missing his braking point, lost control of the car, and nothing he could do actually coming into that bus stop chicane, and takes out the Go Speed car of Camille Wiswa. Let's see if I can get a replay of that.
Just hold off one moment, Felix. I just want to see what these guys are going to be like down the main track. Daniel Kish has got a decent run on Michele D'Alessandro, but he just has not got the straight line speed. Florian Becker side by side with Fran Lopez. Fran Lopez into 4th place through Les Combes. He's gone wide. He's cut the corner. Is he going to hold the position? I think that's one that really should move over and let Martin Godspeed back through, because he made the move. Then he is. Is he moving over and letting him through? No, he's not.
Just leaving some extra space, I guess. But Martin Godspeed probably won't be happy about that. But Fran extending a lot here. He extended he basically cut Lacombe. I saw him cut No Name Corner once in lap 1 and now already in lap 2. So he's gonna have to watch out. You've got 4 laps that you can cut, and after that you're gonna get penalized.
Well, talking about cuts and extensions, I mean, in Formula Sim Racing, curbs are part of the racetrack, so you can use the curbs, but obviously you can't extend beyond them, and that's what you're on about there,
yep.
Felix, by cutting and extending.
Let's see the replay now, though, of the incident with Camille Wiswa and John-Eric Saxon, if I could.
You might want to hold on a second, because Fran Lopez, I think, maybe going for another move on Daniel Kish, heading towards the bus stop. He is, he's going to go for it. No, he backs out. My apologies, Fran Lopez on a mission.
Definitely is on a mission and hunting down the competitors in front of him. Fastest lap of the race, Jonas Simocic, 1:46.356. Do I have the time to show the replay now?
Maybe I'm just trying to delay you.
I'm just going to hold off for now. Martin Gosby is pretty close. Is he actually didn't have the best run out of turn 1, so maybe he has to hold off for now. Let's see a little bit further back, though. I saw Giordano being pretty close to James Sadler.
Fran Lopez is on Daniel Kiss. He's definitely going to go for it this time. Side by side, Fran Lopez on the outside. He's already ahead, but Daniel Kiss trying to fight it, but he can't. Fran Lopez makes the move clean on this occasion.
Yep, he does. So Fran Lopez into the podium position. 3rd place for him for now, and he will start aiming his sights to Michele D'Alessandro.
Go on then, Felix. Show that replay quickly before they're on the straights.
I'm going to have to be quick, don't I? So here we go. Going for the replay. John-Eric Saxon starts to brake. And I think he got hit from behind. Let's scroll it back a little bit there. What is that car from behind? It is the car of Jos Araneda, I believe. Jos Araneda just tapping the rear of John-Eric Saxon. John-Eric Saxon, nothing he can do. Rams into the side of Camille Wiswa. Nothing Camille Wiswa can do. Also a Vopool Motorsports Stormcharge. A Vopool Motorsports car involved in that incident. And wow, really a lot of chaos there caused by the contact made by Jos Araneda, I believe. Or at least one of the Invictus drivers.
There definitely is. Okay, D'Alessandro, he's catching up to Simocic. I'll have to check if Simocic has had a slow lap or whether D'Alessandro's had a quick one. Lopez, he's hunting them down rather rapidly. Daniel Kiss is trying to hang on to the back of Lopez, but he can't. He's just watching guys drive away from him on the straights. Gosby, he's got to get past Kiss as quickly as he can, but he's understeering around Les Sources, which is compromising his run down towards Eau Rouge, and Risto Capit is trying to hunt down Gosby. A little bit further back from sort of 9th down, we've got a little bit of a gaggle of cars. Go Speed on Valeriano. Be interested to see what happens there. But, I mean, what an opening couple of laps we've had here. Absolutely chaotic and madness. It's been absolutely frantic. And just to give my apologies to John Eric Saxon, obviously our commentators cursed him on the formation lap.
Well, don't we always commentate curse some driver?
Someone's getting it for definite. That's one certainty.
So, Florian Becker really having a disappointing start, at least for now, dropping back to 8th position. Maybe he can try to get back into a rhythm and attack Eros Mashuli in front of him. He's got a good gap behind him to James Sadler, almost 2 seconds, so doesn't have to worry about that all too much. But he still needs to get past the cars in front of him, and that is not going to be easy.
Something I want to touch on while we've got a half a second. You mentioned about Mohamed Patel and the conversation that Michi Hoyer had on Sim News, saying that if Patel is going to be competing in World's Fastest Game, he shouldn't be racing today. And it reminded me of an event that took place last season where a driver purposefully low-fueled their car to give out ridiculous race pace because they knew they were going to not complete the race. And action, I believe, was taken on that. Mohamed Patel, I think, has kind of gone around this a different way. He's qualified serving the 5th place grid penalty, and he did not take to the racetrack in the race. He stayed in the pits. He didn't even go to the end of the pit lane. So it could be said, has he got involved in this race in any way, shape or form? Well, in qualifying he did a little bit, giving a bit of slipstream in, but we'll leave that for the viewers to argue over, because I'm sure they can do that.
Florian Becker in the slipstream of Eros Mashuli in front, top speed of 340.8 on the limiter there. So Florian Becker doesn't really have enough top speed to get past the drivers in front of him.
He doesn't, and he's going to have to be very, very careful, because James Sadler is now beginning to catch him up. And James Sadler is bringing along Adam Maguire. And I mean, I know that Adam Maguire has not done hardly any practice at all over the last couple of weeks. But he is a quick driver. He's one of those guys that is just simply talented. Some people have to work at it. Adam picks up a wheel and he's just quick. So it'll be interesting if he's going to be able to make any gains. But yeah, Sadler catching up to Becker. So Becker can't afford to hang about behind Eros Masciuli. But he's got to make gains as quickly as he can.
Yep, Michele Alessandro still keeping within that 1 second area of Journey Simoncic, but last lap of Journey was a purple lap, 146.1, great lap from the Go-Speed driver. And let's see if he can keep up this pace with 5 laps, 6 laps now starting into this race.
I think we're about to have fireworks here in Spa. We've got Fran Lopez being hunted down by Risto Capit. This could end up anyway. This could end up in a beautiful overtake. It could end up in disaster, but they're very, very close heading down to Eau Rouge.
Yeah, Martin Gosby didn't have the best. Actually, you saw Risto Capit lifting a little bit to make sure he didn't get too close before the end of Eau Rouge, because if he gets past before the end of the straight, then Martin is going to have slipstream back on him again. Let's see, Eros Masciuli is trying to get back past Martin Gosby as well. Let's see, Risto Capit breaks in front of Martin Gosby. Takes the position away. Actually, is Martin going to fight it? Not really. So Risto Capit up to 5th and Martin Gosby down to 6th place.
Yeah, my apologies. It was Gosby, not Fran Lopez who was catching. My apologies. Now, it looks like James Sadler's had a bit of a problem. He's freed up Adam Maguire to go and attack Florian Becker if he can. Florian Becker still stuck on the back of Eros Masciuli, but I mean, something that we've seen over the course of this season, Felix, especially with like the likes of Yernis Simoncic, Mohamed Patel, they have been very strategic with their opening stint of the race, looking after the tyres, getting to a particular lap, or waiting for their rivals to pit and then just going longer. Would you say that these guys are doing a similar thing, or does it look a little bit more all-out attack?
Well, I think the approach as well to the races of these drivers has been a little bit different. a lot of distractions. I think for quite some drivers doing the World Fastest Gamer Championship maybe didn't get as much practice in as they normally would have. So maybe they are a little bit more on the limit than they would usually be. Of course, they're almost always on the limit here at the World Championship.
Masciuli, has got a good run on Martin Gosby here. He's got a fantastic run. Gosby could probably have done with using the slipstream of the car ahead, because they're going to go side by side into Les Combes. Is Gosby going to be able to defend it? He's going to try. Side by side, still beautiful driving. A little twitch from Gosby. Oh, there's contact.
Dear contact.
Oh, there's the commentator's curse. Beautiful driving. Ends up in a crash, unfortunately. And now Eros Masciuli is going to have to be careful of Florian Becker, who's going to try and attack him.
Gosby parking the car on the side of the road. DNFing for him. Sad to see. Let's take a quick replay at that incident. So here we go. They were going side by side beautifully through Les Combes. Then I believe Eros Masciuli had a little bit of an oversteer moment on the curb. Yes, he did, and that just hit the car of Martin Gosby into the side barrier, giving him suspension damage and also a little bit of front wing damage, ending his race for today.
That's massively disappointing for Martin Gosby, and I'm sure he'll have a few choice words about that one. It looks like Daniel Kiss is quite close to the back of Fran Lopez. Yes, he is. We're getting to a stage of the race now as well where the option tyres, if you've been punishing them, they're really going to start hurting you back when it comes to lap time. So this is where Daniel Kish, with his higher aerodynamic setup, is going to benefit. And look at the run he's got on Fran Lopez now, absolutely smashing him for top speed. Is he going to be able to make the move though? He's going to try and go around the outside. We saw what happened with Gosby through here, and Daniel Kish not quite able to do it. But if he can stay close enough into Sector 2, or through Sector 2, he may be able to have another look towards the bus stop.
Yep. Definitely have.
Masciuli is ever so close to the back of Florian Becker. He was trying to make a move.
Watch Adam Maguire behind that as well.
Oh wow, yeah. So coming through Rivage, Masciuli was ever so close. And I mean, one of the tricky things around this circuit as well is once two guys get side by side, the amount of time they lose can quite easily catch out a following driver. So all of these drivers have to be fully aware that they need to take an advantage if a door opens, but they've got to be prepared for that door to close in an instant.
Definitely. Some of these drivers are unforgiving. Of course, they have the right to be so. Just need to keep that in your mind.
Now up at the front, Yerny Simicic has managed to open up a little bit of a gap on D'Alessandro. Lopez has opened up a little bit of a gap on Daniel Kish, but I think Lopez is struggling a little bit in the braking zones, and that's where Kish has been able to close the gap.
Adam Maguire is really starting to put the pressure on Eros Masciuli, having a little bit of oversteer on the exit of the bus stop chicane. Let's see, what can he do? Ooh, Eros makes a braking mistake into La Source. This allows Adam Maguire to get in that slipstream here. Coming through a Rouge. Eros Masciuli now doesn't have the slipstream of the car in front of him. Surely this means Adam Maguire has the easy overtake here on Camel Straight. Adam is going to the outside. Eros on the inside. And I think Adam is already past. Yes, he is. So I think Eros really could do there. Well, he couldn't have made the mistake in La Source. That mistake cost him the 7th place.
I've just seen something very, very interesting. Daniel Kish got as close as he did on the previous lap, but this time Fran Lopez did exactly what he did when he passed Martin Gosby earlier on. He cut the second part of Les Combes. Daniel Kish, after the next corner, makes a bit of movement of his car that says, I'm not too happy about that. You've gone off the track and you've kept your position.
Yep, I'm watching it on the replay right now. So here we go on Daniel Kish's onboard. Yeah, Fran Lopez just cutting across the track. Not really the most sportsmanship driving I would say there from Lopez. And I think this also will not be totally accepted by the race director at the end of this race, because as far as I've counted, he has already cut the track on 3 multiple laps, and I haven't been watching him for the whole race, and you can only have 4 cuts in total before you get penalized. So he really needs to watch out unless he loses that valuable 3rd place.
Well, that battle around Adam Maguire is still going on. I'm just going to keep an eye on Daniel Kish for a moment. I don't think he's close enough. I think Lopez has just had another little moment off track. But yeah, I don't think Kish is close enough to really kind of attack. Well, this race so far has been absolutely non-stop. I haven't even had a chance to grab a drink, let alone check out drivers' lap times. But it's interesting the mentality of some of the drivers as well. I mentioned about the summer break and how different drivers may approach it. Some taking a full-on break and others putting in as many laps as they can. But I mean, you then have to question sometimes with the likes of, as I mentioned, Adam Maguire, who's done hardly any practice, jumps in the car, currently running in 7th place. But I mean, some drivers are like that though. They are much better. Take a certain British Formula 1 driver, didn't turn up to an event in London where every other F1 driver did. He chose not to get the benefit of the extra time away for the race. So the way drivers approach events, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it benefits them, it works.
Sorry to undercut you here, Dave, but Risto Kappert was looking to make a move around the outside of Blanchimont. He decided wisely to back out of it and maybe wait for the Camel Straight to make his move onto Daniel Kish. Actually, he has not got the best run out of the bus stop chicane. Maybe he can make something work here out of La Source. He needs that slipstream, but Daniel Kish also has the slipstream from Lopez in front of him. So maybe Risto Kappert missing out on a chance to get past the driver in front of him. Actually got a good run out of Rouge, closing in on the limiter now though, 3:36, and he is not getting close enough.
Maguire once again closing in on Florian Becker, but not close enough to attack. But he is opening up that gap to Eros Masciuli. Valeriano on the back of Sadler trying to apply some pressure. And we've got a bit of a gap back to Jos Araneda. But you know, Valeriano looks like he's trying to make a little bit of a charge here. But D'Alessandro up at the front as well, keeping that gap, or got that gap back down to around about a second.
Yeah, great work there from Michele D'Alessandro, the Italian driver. I think we are now starting to come up to the first pit stops. Will be around lap 13 to lap 15, 16. Of course, prime runners are gonna go a little bit longer than the option runners.
Well, here's
I just was watching Giordano Valeriano, had a massive moment in Stavolo and almost lost the car. Luckily could save it and is still driving his car in the right direction.
Well, I was just going to quickly ask you, I mean, we touched a little bit on strategy. You said the pit stop window is coming up, and it is. And the driver's going to have that choice of going option, prime, option, prime, option, prime, prime. And a lot of it could be simply down to how a driver feels on any particular set of tyres. But I was just going to quickly ask you, Felix, in yesterday's race, actually, Daniel Kish, he's getting ever so close again to the back of Fran Lopez. He's going to have another opportunity, and seeing what happened last time, I think Kish is going to absolutely force the issue on this occasion. Trying to go around the outside, he's going to close that door as best he can, and he does. A lovely move from Daniel Kish. He's going to have to be aware of the switchback though and cover Fran Lopez off down into excuse me, down into Rivage, and he does that beautifully. The problem for Daniel Kish is he had to do that there so that through sector 2 he can open up a gap. If he doesn't open up a big enough gap, Fran Lopez will be on the back of him heading down to the bus stop, and he'll lose the position heading into Lecombe. So yeah, what I was trying to get to was yesterday, Felix, in yesterday's Ace race, in those tricky conditions when he went to the dry tyres, what was in your mind when you thought, I'm not going to put on the faster option tyre, I'm going to go for the harder, slower, heavier fuel prime tyre?
Well, for me it was, I knew the track was drying up quite quickly. So it was time for dry tires, definitely. I had fueled my car at the beginning of the race for, I think, about 10 laps. And I pitted after 7 laps, I believe, for the dry tire. And in my mind, I was still trying to make my current two-stop strategy work as Francisco Lopez goes into the pit lane, actually. I was still trying to make my two-stop work, but I didn't know for sure if I would be able to make it if I took any options. So I made that decision to make sure that if the primes were wearing too quickly, that I didn't have to go on to options, or if I was on options then and they wore too quickly, then I might not even make it on the primes to the end of the race. So that was my strategy of thinking.
Yeah, good answer. It didn't matter what the answer was, it'd be the good answer because it was what you chose to do. Fran Lopez has come out in 13th place. He's gone back to the option tyre. And one of the reasons I mention it is that this is a bit of an interesting circuit. To go onto the prime tyre now, Fran Lopez would be at a certain pace, slower than those cars ahead of him potentially. But going to the option tyre, there is the possibility that he'll be able to actually be quicker than the cars ahead of him, even though he's got more fuel on, because the option tyres die off towards the end of a stint. So going option here can actually be a massive benefit for a potential undercut. So we'll have to see what happens with regards to Fran Lopez and Daniel Kish on that. But also I wanted to mention it because I know today sometimes a driver can find themselves in an awkward situation where they think, right, if I put the prime tyre on, I've had an accident, I need a new front wing. If I put the prime tyre on, I can get to the end. Hold on a moment, the car can't hold enough fuel. So there's always, a driver has to cover every aspect of making a decision, and that's where the huge benefit comes from having a race engineer that can sit there and make those calls for you and make sure you don't miss anything.
Yep. Bristol Capet also coming into the pit lane from 4th position.
As is James Sadler.
Right, so it is option tyres as well for Risto Capet.
Masciuli is on the back of Florian Becker heading through Eau Rouge. I'll check out those guys in the pit lane for you.
Yep, I'll cover Eros. Eros has some good top speed, is alongside, pulled out of the slipstream pretty early. That means doesn't really have the momentum to keep with Florian Becker, and Florian Becker is able to keep in front here coming into Lacombe. So Eros Masciuli has to find a place to get past, maybe next lap, maybe do something on strategy. I don't know, of course, when Florian is going to pit, but Florian is staying out on the lap. Florian makes a little mistake there, going a bit wide. But yeah, maybe if Florian stays out a lap longer, get in earlier than Florian, or do the other way around, try to get an overcut, but that's difficult. Because, as you said, Dave, the option tires wear out quite a lot on the end of their tire life.
That they do. Okay, Fran Lopez, he's now in 9th place, and Risto Capet, after his pit stop, putting on option tyres, is only a couple of seconds behind him in 10th. Robin Pansor, I don't think has stopped yet. He's still running prime tyre, as is Dominic Vasienko. James Sadler has put prime tyres on, and he's now ahead of Adam Maguire. I'm not sure if Maguire's had a bit of an issue. He's on the option tyre. So a difference in strategy for those sister teammates. And then Eric Andre onto options as well. Camille Weezer also made a recent pit stop. He's gone for option tyres.
All the leaders into the pit lane. Daniel Kish, Journey Simicic, Michele D'Alessandro. And let's see who's going to take what strategy. Journey Simicic is on the option tyre. Michele D'Alessandro is on the prime tyre. That's interesting to see.
So is Kish. Kish has gone prime tyre as well.
Alright, so different strategies here at the front. Giordano Valeriano is going to take the lead in the race. For now, because he hasn't stopped yet, obviously. But yeah, interesting to see different strategies here from the Go Speed and Musto drivers.
Michele D'Alessandro is about to make a move on, I believe it's DeWald Nell. Yes, it is. DeWald not fighting him at all. He's on a completely different strat. Well, I say he's not fighting him. He's making him work for it, that's for sure. And I hear the sound of contact of cars. I'm not sure entirely who that was.
Michele made a mistake into the braking of Lacombe. Almost lost the position back to DeWald Nell. Managed to stay in front there.
I think there may have been a little bit of contact between Daniel Kish and Risto Capit. They must have come out of the pits, or when Daniel Kish came out of the pits, must have been ever so close to Risto Capit, and he's fought hard to stay ahead, and he needed to because he's on the prime tyre, so he's got to make it painful for Capit now.
Yeah, Capit has got a little bit of damage on his front wing. I can't really find something where I can show a replay of, so just gonna have to take your word for it, Dave.
Dangerous thing to do, that is. Don't take my word on anything. Okay, Valeriano, he's leading the way by 4 seconds at the moment, but obviously he's not made a pit stop yet. I think he'll be making one any time now.
Ooh, what's this? Okay, Daniel Kish giving the position back to Risto Kappa. That's very nice of the Hungarian driver, as he probably proceeds to make the move into the bus stop. No, he waits for a little bit.
Okay, Valeriano into the pits as I thought he would be, but he damaged his front wing on the way in. Is he going to repair it? I think he is. It's looking a longish stop. No, he's decided, no, I'm not going to bother. Maybe didn't have enough time. Daniel Kish and Capit, as you mentioned, close together. Fran Lopez been able to benefit by their little tussle.
Yep, a lot of things happening on track at the moment. My apologies if we miss anything. We can't show 3 things on stream at the same time. It is proving to be a very interesting race. Let's see Florian Becker. He's going to make the move on Robin Pansar for 8th position. Has he got enough top speed? Maybe on the braking. He's got the fresher tires and the better tire in general. The option tire, of course. So he gets past pretty easily. Had to work for it a bit, but managed to get past.
Valeriano and Sadler just had a little coming together into Lake Colm. Both look like they have no damage, both on the prime tyre, both have continued on. I only saw the sort of towards the end, so I couldn't tell you who was attacking who there, unfortunately.
Alright, no problem. So, Jos Araneda, of course still on the prime tyre, hasn't stopped yet. Is now probably going to get past in the next few laps by Michele D'Alessandro.
DeWald Nell is about to be attacked by Fran Lopez, heading towards Blanchimont. Fran Lopez on the option tyre. He's not going to try and do it. He's off track around the outside. I think that was a little bit much, to be honest. Yeah, a little bit too much aggression there.
Yeah, let's see it on the replay. I didn't quite fully see it. On board with Fran Lopez, here we go. He gets into the slipstream of the car in front. DeWald Nell goes on to the outside, completely goes off the track. Fran Lopez, you really need to watch out. I think from what I've counted, it's already more than 4 cuts.
Yeah, I mean that was one of those where as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, that gap's not big enough, the gap's not big enough. And it wasn't big enough, which is why I ended up off the track. Adam Maguire is on at the back of Dominic Vasienko. Vasienko has not stopped yet. He's on the prime tyre. He's an unknown driver as far as Adam Maguire is concerned, but Maguire going to try and make the move around the outside of him down the Kemmel Straight. A move comfortably done for him.
Alright, so let's take a look back at the front. Jonas Simicic extending his lead. Would be expected as he is on the lower fuel and on the quicker tire than Michele D'Alessandro. Lead now almost 5.5 seconds even. So doing a very nice job so far, Jonas Simicic. But we're gonna have to see. Of course, in the second pit stop phase, Journey is gonna have the slower tire compared to Michele D'Alessandro, as Journey still needs to take the prime tyre.
Well, this is the thing, Journey does still need to take the prime tyre. D'Alessandro has that choice, prime again or option again. Jos Araneda, who's sitting in second place at the moment though, he's not made a pit stop yet, and neither has DeWald Nell. But for Daniel Kiss, I mean, since the start of this race, it's been a frustrating one for him. He's currently in 7th, net 5th, and he's quite far away from Fran Lopez compared to Dewaldnell into the pits. So that gap between Kish and Lopez was a matter of a second before the pit stops. Now, there's a good 5 seconds between them.
Yeah, Adam Maguire still fighting hard with Robin Pansar. Maguire on the fresher tire has a good top speed, at least I believe so. So coming through Eau Rouge now, got the momentum going. In the slipstream he goes. Surely this will be an easy move. Has he got enough top speed? 340.6. Needs to do it on the braking. Here we go, on the braking for Lacombe. Turns it in front already. Nice move there by Adam Maguire. Up to 8th place he goes.
If I mention the name Fran Lopez, what would you think I've just seen, Felix?
He extended the track.
No! Yeah, okay, he did. In no name, I just having to jump on board because he's catching up to D'Alessandro at the moment. I mean, a couple of factors there. D'Alessandro's prime tyre, Fran Lopez is on option tyre. But as soon as I was on board, yeah, he looked like he was off the track a little bit. I mean, I don't want to bash him too much, but it's one of those things. I'm a bit like Martin Brundle. There's a racetrack, drive on it. That's just my view. But yeah, Lopez is catching up to D'Alessandro.
Yeah, let's see what he can do, if he can keep it on the track with the overtake.
Place your bets now!
Right, so probably will be doing so in Eau Rouge if he gets the good run out of La Source. It's really interesting to see the driving style of Francisco Lopez. He's so erratic on the steering wheel, just twitching it all over the place, throwing the car around. It's so weird to watch. As a driver myself as well.
Yeah, definitely is. Just so you know, Vasienko has made his pit stop. I believe he'll be for option tyres. I'll let you know.
So here we go, Van Lopez making almost lost the back there, trying to do a triple switchback on Michele D'Alessandro. That's what I'm saying with the erratic steering wheel movement. She's just throwing the steering wheel around the place and almost loses the car by doing so on the straight.
Oh, car ahead, Jos Araneda just lost the rear end. That's closed the gap now from him and D'Alessandro to barely anything. But I mean, that moment with Lopez there, it looked again like he was going to go for a gap that simply wasn't there. The reaction to it created that moment, and if you want to know how to stop a car from crashing completely, I'm guessing the way Fran's just done it is close your eyes, hold your breath and hope you don't crap yourself. And on that, okay, Vasiecki, I mentioned he's made a pit stop recently. He has. He's come back out on a set of option tyres, so I'll keep an eye on whether he's going to be able to make any moves on that. But he is 10 seconds behind Eric Andre at the moment.
Yeah. So, take 2 for Francisco Lopez is coming up. He's got a good run out of Blanchimont, actually. Maybe cut the track. I don't know. It was very close with the white line, actually, there. Let's see what he can do coming out of the bus stop. Probably will make the move again into, out of Eau Rouge, out of Rayon.
Jos Araneda making his pit stop.
We'll drop back to 10th place, maybe.
Might be a little further back, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out on Francisco Lopez as he will surely go for the move again. Michele, what is he gonna do defensive-wise? Sticks to the inside. Fran Lopez on the outside. Is Michele gonna be able to defend it? On the braking, maybe? No. Michele goes back to the racing line and Fran Lopez is ahead. Michele tries to do the switchback in Lacombe though. But that doesn't really pay out for him and needs to concede for now. Of course, he is on the different strategy. He held up Francisco Lopez for quite a good amount of laps. Let's see if this is going to pay out for Michele on the end of the race.
Okay, Jos Araneda came out in 12th place, option tyres. It's definitely still a 2-stop for him. He's not going to get 25 laps out of them, but let's see what he can do from there. 2 guys ahead of him, Valeriano and James Sadler. I mentioned a few laps ago they had a coming together. They're still ever so close, and not too far up the road is Masciuli and Pansar, but Masciuli hasn't got the straight line speed to make a move down the Kemmel Straight on Robin Pansar.
Jim Sadler making a little bit of a mistake in sector 2 that allows the Giordano to really close in here at the end of sector 2, coming out of Stavolo now. On the power they go. Let's see if Giordano is going to be able to get that slipstream. I think he's a little bit too far away. And maybe doesn't have the top speed either. No, not really. So it's going to have to try it in Lacombe, probably.
Pansar into the pits. I'm just having a quick look at something regarding our race leader at the moment. So I'm hoping to come to you with a little bit of information in a moment. I just want to get my research in.
Yeah, sure. I'll keep my eyes on Giordano Valeriano. Didn't have a good exit out of La Source. Lost a lot of momentum to James Sadler, but got the track, I believe, there on the inside of Eau Rouge. So I think Giordano needs to watch out a little bit as well, because I've seen him on the limits quite a bit. I think the post-race checks are going to be quite some work for our lovely race director. And I think some drivers are gonna be pretty pissed about it.
Okay, information I was going to mention about Yerny Simoncic. Right, he made a pit stop not so long ago. He did 14 laps on his first set of options. He's on options again. He's done six laps so far. He needs to open up enough of a gap that he comes out ahead of Michele D'Alessandro, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. So Yerny Simoncic may find himself in a very difficult situation when he makes his pit stop. He's going to be behind Michele D'Alessandro, and D'Alessandro is going to have a number of more laps to do on his prime tyres. So there could be a race-changing scenario coming in about 8 to 10 laps' time.
Yep, exactly. Going to be very interesting to see how those different strategies merge together at the end of this race. We're just halfway, well, almost, as Journey enters sector 2 now. We are probably about halfway.
D'Alessandro, is close to Lopez, but Valeriano is ever so close to Sadler as well. Yeah, D'Alessandro couldn't make the move, but can Valeriano? He's been behind James Sadler for quite some time. I don't think he's got the straight line speed. James Sadler, yeah, he's...
no, he doesn't.
Valeriano's doing 340 kilometres an hour and he's not catching him up.
No, he's not. So, Netrex, Twister and Musto in general really having a little bit too low top speed here to really capitalize on their pace advantage. Of course, maybe that pace advantage is also part of having a little bit more wing on the car.
Definitely. Now Valeriano's got to be careful though, because he's got Jos Araneda miles off track behind him. Jos Araneda on the option tyres being affected by dirty air, but Araneda is beginning to come into this battle, so that could get very interesting. And I'm just wondering, is Risto Capit catching up to D'Alessandro a little bit? It's under a second, about a second between those two.
Last lap was a tenth quicker, but this lap so far is already half a second quicker, actually, by Risto Capit, almost half a second. So Risto Capit doing a good job. The gap between them at the moment is about, well, less than a second, so let's keep an eye out on that.
Oh, Valeriano just made a little bit of a mistake going into the bus stop. That may give Jos Araneda half a chance. And I mentioned earlier on about if two guys start battling, the amount of time that they lose. Araneda chucks it on the inside. Oh my god. Oh my days, that was like a kid chasing an ice cream van. Just went for it.
That's one of the biggest dive bombs I've seen in a long time here on the World Championship. And Jos Araneda, well, made it stick, but partially by Giordano Valeriano being aware of the dive bomb being made and just moving out of the way. bit of unsportsmanlike driving from Jos Araneda, but I have to see if that is allowed by the race director, because I'm sure Jordana won't be happy about it.
No, definitely. I mean, it's an interesting one as well, because it's the kind of thing that if other drivers see and it's like, well, nothing happens about that, then other people go, oh, so I can just barge people out of the way. Obviously, there's always fine details regarding any kind of incident, so it's very easy to sit there and go, dive bomb, penalty, but there could be many other factors that when you see it live, you just can't fully take into account. Which is why, just like in real racing, quite often teams will be like, yeah, but look at my data, look at my data. I was on the brakes, look at my data. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll get away with it, though. Risto Capit has latched onto the back of Michele D'Alessandro. That gap now down to 0.8 of a second. And what I was going to mention before Jos Araneda decided to check out his flying and bombing capabilities was that when two cars battle, they do lose time. And Valeriano instantly dropped off the back of James Sadler once Jos Araneda got close. And D'Alessandro could be in a very similar situation if Risto Capit can catch onto the back of him. He is on the option tyre, so the opportunity is there, but we are only about 4 or 5 laps away from the next pit stop window for those guys that are on the option tyres.
Yes, exactly so. Keep your eyes open, because gonna go on mental in a second again, because option drivers are gonna stop, gonna mix in with the prime runners further down the field, and the prime runners that are now running on the primes are going to go back up, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see what is going to happen. Of course, as you've mentioned before, Johnny Simoncic will most certainly rejoin behind Michele D'Alessandro in traffic quite a bit as well, because the gap he has to Adam Maguire, for example, it's only 21 seconds. I think he's going to be pretty busy with traffic, so did Journey make the right call to go to the option tyres here?
I kind of think he did. And the reason I say that, it touches on what I mentioned earlier on as D'Alessandro getting ever so close to the back of Fran Lopez once again into the bus stop. I think he did, because by going on to the option tyre for the second stint, they're just quicker. And especially in Simoncic's situation where there was that opportunity of him keeping hold of the lead, he just gets to pull away. Yes, okay, he's going to be on the prime tyre, he's going to come out behind D'Alessandro, but there's going to be about a 10-second gap between them. So if he's magically a second a lap faster for 10 laps, he'll just catch up D'Alessandro, who is about to attack Fran Lopez. We've seen Lopez trying to attack. Let's see how he defends. I'm holding my breath on this one, as I'm sure the viewers are as well, and he turns in.
Side by side they go through La Combe. It's going to be D'Alessandro in front out of the corner, but I think Fran Lopez is not giving up on it, is he? For now he is, but very, very aggressive defending from Fran Lopez. And luckily no tears being shed there.
No, but Risto Capit's just seen that happen, and Risto Capit's going to think, well, if he can do it on prime tyres, I can do it on option tyres. And I think I might be sending Fran Lopez a bill for a sore throat, because every time I get about to scream about what he's doing, I need to cough. So, yeah, Fran, I'm sending you a bill for some throat sweets.
I'll send one too.
Yeah, everybody send him a bill.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, just send the bill to Fran Lopez. Anyway, let's get back to Risto Capit, because he is closing in. He's going to be close enough at the end of La Source, at the end of Camel Straight. I don't know, we're going to have to see. First the bus stop chicane and turn 1. Oh dear. I think I just had a game freeze. Oh yes, I did. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm still live. Yes, I believe so. So, Dave,
okay.
Back to radio commentary.
Okay, yeah. Fran Lopez has just gone into the pits. He's onto the prime tyre. And I was just going to quickly mention as well that the battle that was brewing there as Felix is sorting out his live stream, the battle that was brewing was helping Daniel Kish, because he was sneaking up to that battle. He is only 2 seconds behind Risto Capit. Capit needs to pit soon. He's got option tyres on. Daniel Kish is on the same strategy as this D'Alessandro. So let's see how that plays out for Kish. Let's see. Jos Araneda, Fran Lopez has come out of the pits right behind Jos Araneda, Valeriano and Sadler. So that 3-car battle that unfortunately you may not be able to see right now. Jos Araneda is about to try and attack. He is attacking. Valeriano can't make the move. These guys are battling. Valeriano goes deep into the corner. Now Fran Lopez into Lecom. We know he's not going to hang about. He's attacking straight away, but he can't quite make a move on Jos Araneda. But we know it won't take him long to actually go for it. Hopefully Felix will be able to get the live stream images back up. Yeah,
I'm back. So I just missed like the biggest amount of action I could have missed. Great timing there, rFactor.
There's more to come. There's more to come. Guaranteed. You watch somewhere between 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. I'm sure something will happen.
Oh, I'm watching for sure. Francisco Lopez on board.
I'm closing my eyes.
There we go. Jos Araneda is looking on Giordano Valeriano. I'm gonna have to send some more sweets to you, I believe, after the little radio commentary you did. Anyway, Jos Araneda is looking very close on the back of Giordano Valeriano. Is he going to do it around the outside of Blanchimon? He's going to try it, Max Verstappen style. Here we go. Keeps it on the curb. Is he going to do it on the braking? Here we go. Brakes very late there, Giordano Valeriano. They make a little bit of contact.
Don't do it, Fran. Don't do it, Fran.
God. Fran Lopez taking the inside there from Jos Araneda. And Jos Araneda losing that position again. Tries to attack Fran Lopez as well. Fran Lopez doing the dive bomb again on Giordano Valeriano. Bumps him out of the way in La Source.
Well, I was going to mention, watch out for Risto Capit coming out of the pits because he's just made his pit stop and he is just ahead of Fran Lopez. But I think Jos Araneda is going to be very frustrated. He's on close to the back of Valeriano.
3 wide, guys. This is not going to work. Oh dear. Giordano decides to get out of that 3-way battle. But is this going to end well? Here we go. Giordano in front of Jos Araneda so far, but Jos Araneda is gonna try the cutback in Lacombe out of the corner here. Now coming through the hairpin. It is still Giordano in front, and Fran Lopez leading of those 3 drivers. What a battle is going on here. Fran Lopez casually extends no-name corner again. I think it's safe to say he is going to get a penalty.
He is, because I'm now coughing so much of it in excitement. My knees have gone numb. It's mental, this race. I mean, okay, people may not agree with the way that Fran Lopez is racing, his racecraft is at the moment, but gotta be said, it is kind of entertaining. But obviously, actions do need to be taken if seen fit. Risto Capit calmly exited the pit lane, has probably no idea what happened behind him. He has Sadler ahead of him, he's trying to hunt him down. Yerny Simoncic is still out there, but Maguire into the pits. D'Alessandro 11.5 seconds off Simoncic. And while all this has been going on, unfortunately, Jan von der Heide, I will have said that wrong. Felix can tell her that.
It's a German, yes? Jan von der Heide.
Okay, I thought he may have been Dutch. But anyway, unfortunately, he's out of this race.
Too bad to see. Replacing Michi Hoyer, I believe, for today. But ending the race in lap 28. However, it's going to go all mental again. Giordano has the slipstream on Fran Lopez. Is Fran Lopez defending? Yes, he definitely is going to the inside. Giordano on the outside. Is he going to make it stick? Fran Lopez braking very late. Missing his braking point. And going wide. He's trying to keep the position, but isn't able to do so. And now he needs to watch out for Araneda behind as well. Araneda getting a real good run here through the hairpin. Now coming to the no-name corner. Fran Lopez going wide, of course. We're used to it now. And Jos Araneda now getting the dirty hair, running wide as well.
I've got a feeling that Lecom may get renamed after this race to Fran Lecom, because he's definitely got his own line through those corners. But, I mean, the interesting thing is, obviously, the guy's got pace. All of these guys got pace. Simoncic into the pits. So yeah, the guy's got pace. If he can actually calm himself down a little bit, he'd be even faster.
Yeah, but let's take a look on Simocic. Where is he going to rejoin? Is he going to like come out straight in front of these drivers? No, he's going to come out way in front of them, surely.
He's had the benefit of Becker pitting behind him, so that's opened up a little bit of space for him. But I do question where Becker is going to feed back out. Is he going to be safe, or is he? He's going to be in this mix, isn't he?
Oh dear.
And De Wold Nell, where have you come from? De Wold Nell is on the back of Jos Araneda.
Yeah, this battle is growing and growing because, I mean, these drivers are all battling each other. They're losing time whilst doing so, and the drivers behind are just catching up to them.
Araneda on Lopez. Araneda on Lopez. Here we go. Ooh, Lopez decides I'm going to sit right in the middle of the road. No, it's going to turn into Araneda halfway down the straight. I can't believe what I'm seeing, so I've got to say it. Oh my days.
Yeah, Jos Araneda losing out on the move there, but very harsh defending from Lopez. Is it the right thing to do? I'm not the one to decide, so in my opinion, it's not. I'm free to give my opinion, but the race director is going to be the one that decides on that, of course.
Okay, information regarding Yerny Simicic, who, if we get to speak to him at the end of this race, he'll be like, well, that was a boring one. No, it wasn't. Yeah, Yerny Simicic, he's come out third place, 13 seconds behind Michele D'Alessandro. When Michele pits, he's going to be about 10 or so seconds behind Simicic on, I suspect, the option tyre, because Simicic is now on the primes. So, D'Alessandro, when are you going to make that stop? I think it could be within...
Yeah,
well,
within these
any time.
next 2 laps, yeah. Here we go, Jos Araneda on the outside, coming into the bus stop chicane, brakes late, front Lopez also brakes late, they both slide a bit, and there's contact! Ooh, front Lopez almost spins around, manages to keep the car pointed in the right direction, but loses 2 positions to Florian Becker and De Wold Nell by doing so. He won't be happy about that. Let's hope he can keep his head calm, because he is still just outside the points positions, and maybe he can get back into them. Florian Becker is now going to make the move on De Wold Nell. Has he got the straight line speed? He's getting close enough, brakes late into Lacombe and gets past De Wold Nell pretty easily. De Wold Nell trying to contact? No, not really.
Beautiful, a beautiful overtake that's not going to make me choke when I commentate. De Wold Nell sideways a little bit then, that's going to give Fran Lopez a little bit of an opportunity, but that's something you do not want to offer to him. Oh, nearly into the barrier at No Name. Holy cow.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Fran Lopez makes it to the end of the race without hitting a wall at least once. Anyway.
Well, he's got Maguire catching him up now as well, so we've got one hell of a battle from 5th onwards. It's absolutely bonkers, it's mental. Daniel Kish into the pits, D'Alessandro into the pits. And it is a set of option tyres for the D'Alessandro, no surprise there, but Daniel Kish, he's gone for primes again.
Okay, that is very interesting. I mean, he's got 13 laps remaining. Why would you take the prime tires? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe a mistake in the pit configuration or something. That's the only thing I would think about.
It might be, or he's just thinking, I can absolutely take every little bit of life out of these tyres now.
True.
And not have to worry at all about temperatures, lockups, tyre life, anything at all. Just absolutely nail it.
Oh
because
dear. Watch De Wold Nell and Giordano Valeriano, 14th place. They're going to go side by side on the exit of the pit lane. It's not going to work, guys. The pit lane doesn't take 2 cars at the same time on the exit. Luckily, they decide that De Wold Nell is going to be the first to get out. But maybe De Wold wasn't the best strategy, because Giordano Valeriano is going to have it's going to have a good slipstream on you now. Coming onto the Camel Straight. Here we go. Giordano on the outside. Is he going to make the move? It's a bit of slipstream. Oh, whoops. Here we go. Giordano on the outside. gets the move done, actually runs wide, has to give the position back, does so beautifully. Great sportsmanship there from Giordano, and he is going to have to try again.
And while all that was going on, Masciuli made a beautiful overtake on Dominik Vasienko, who's running in the top 10 in his first WC race, so doing quite well. I mean, he composed himself nicely there.
Yeah, Maguire's gone past from Lopez. Let's see what happened. Because either Fron made a mistake or Maguire just did some good driving.
I think it was down the Kemmel Straight, because I think it was just ahead of the Vasienko battle that I saw. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the replay.
All right. That's already too far back, I think. Is it? Oh, it's just not showing the replay. Why? Here we go. Yeah. So Adam Maguire, yeah, Kemmel Straight. I think it's a pretty straightforward move. Adam Maguire with the top speed around the outside. Is Van Lopez doing some braking maneuvers? He gets back into the slipstream again after Maguire moves over. Does an extreme braking again. Actually made contact with Maguire. Lucky not to spin. I don't know how he didn't spin there, but he kept the car in the good direction. Maguire visually not happy with the driving style of Fran Lopez there. Luckily no damage, at least no visual damage for both of the drivers, and they are still driving and being able to get to the finish line. I believe still 12 laps remaining in this race.
Talking about the amount of laps left in this race, something I was going to touch on before it just absolutely went frantic for a moment there, was that D'Alessandro has got to push these tyres. Kish doesn't have to, although he can. He's got the primes on, he can push them as hard as he likes. D'Alessandro, though, if he wants to win, he's got no choice. He has to push these tyres. He's got the gap down from about 10 seconds to 8.8 at the moment. So he's going to have to consistently be a second faster. Problem is, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that.
It's a big gap, and Journey, of course, his tyres going to... It's the prime tyres, and they... Well, don't necessarily get better
it's
at the end
a little,
of the stint.
Well, it's a little bit like a fish in a film, I know. Just keep swimming. That's what the prime tyres are like. They just keep going.
Yeah.
And now everyone can imagine Yerny Simičić being Dory. Just keep journey. They will just keep going and going and going. Sorry for that. It's been a horrible week for me, so apologies for that. But it is going to be interesting if D'Alessandro can get the gap down. Also, unfortunately, Camille Wieswa recently DNF. But at this moment in time, I do not know what for.
He had that incident at the beginning of the race, of course, with John-Eric Saxon at the bus stop chicane. So maybe the damage being too severe after all.
Florian Becker is on the back of Jos Araneda. It looks like he's got a good enough straight line speed, which he has. He's going to pull out of the slipstream. He's going to have to go all the way, the long way around the outside. But he's done it beautifully. Prime tyre versus option tyre. That's how you overtake in Lake On.
Yeah, great stuff there from the Dutch driver. And also good sportsmanship from Jos Araneda. Leaving the space for him for still defending, but not blocking any... or closing any gaps in an unexpected manner. Almost loses the car on the curb on the exit of No Name, actually. Jos Araneda. Watch out there. You've got a good points position. Just get to the end of the race now.
Felix, I was just wondering, could we have a look at drivers' last lap times from the laps they've just done, and then also the laps they're doing now?
What do you mean?
On the timing tower?
Yeah.
Could we have a look at the last lap times?
Yeah, I've got the last lap times up. So Michele D'Alessandro almost a second quicker than Yerny Simičić's last lap. He's got 10 laps to go. If he keeps up this pace, it's gonna be really close, because the gap at the moment between them is 7 seconds.
Yeah, he is absolutely on it. Daniel Kish, though, is losing time compared to Yerny Simičić at the moment, as Jos Araneda into the pits.
His final stop. We'll be dropping back to around 12th, 11th position, I believe. Maybe just 10th.
No, I think he's going to be. Yeah. I think he's going to be just between Valeriano and De Woldenel.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. Here we go, Valeriano coming out of La Source. And Jos Araneda indeed, well, not actually behind them. So a long stop for Jos Araneda puts him back into 13th position, quite a bit back from the wall now. So gonna have to push hard to gain back that time.
Oh, D'Alessandro is trying to get the gap down to 6 seconds. He's ever so close to doing so. I think with 10 laps to go, I've got a feeling he's going to get close, but I don't think his tyres are going to have the life to be able to do anything about it when he gets there. But also, I mean, there is the possibility that Journey Simicic is pacing himself at the moment and just thinking, that's fine, I'll let him cook his tyres. Let's see what he's got if he's able to catch up.
Exactly. And Journey just has to make sure he does his laps cleanly and make sure he gets to the finish line. I mean, he's leading the race. He shouldn't crash out of the lead of the race.
I can't believe you mentioned that. I really can't. I would have expected that to be the kind of thing I would say, Felix.
Oh, need to have some self-reflection, right?
That is true. That is true. Masciuli ever so close to the back of Fran Lopez. He's been mentioned a lot this race, but yeah, that gap is quite close. And I think Maguire is catching up to Florian Becker. Maguire on the option tyre, Becker on the primes as Pansar heads into the pit lane again for his final stop.
He's actually exiting the pit lane now already, so his final stint to the end of the race. He got the pit exit line there a little bit. Watch out there. Don't know if that's totally allowed. Anyway, let's take a look at Eros Bashuli. He is right on the back of Fran Lopez. And surely he's gonna be looking to make the move. Fran Lopez extending No Name corner. I think...
He didn't, did he?
He did. But last year, Cameron Roger in the Pro Division actually had a lap cut percentage of 68 out of 100 laps, or lap percentage. 68% of the laps he did were cut. I think Fran Lopez is beating that record today.
Oh, Lopez just had a massive twitch through Stavolo right there and then. Getting a little bit hairy for him. Masciuli catching him up quite quickly, using the slipstream to his benefit. The gap between D'Alessandro and Simicic, 6.5 seconds. I think I just saw a car off track a little bit there.
I think he just doesn't care, does he?
I think someone needs to buy him a Scale Extra kit and say, play this, learn on this for a bit, stay in the groove, you'll be alright.
Right, so Eros Masciuli is going to make the move, I think. Coming up to Eau Rouge, out of Radillon, he will have some good momentum going in the slipstream of Fran Lopez. Here we go. Has the top speed. Oh, what a wheel banging there with Fran Lopez. Here we go. Is this going to end well? Side by side into La Colme. Eros Masciuli is going to stick to the inside for the left hand, and now the right hand there is going to be for Fran Lopez again. But Eros Masciuli tries the switchback. It doesn't really work. Maybe into the hairpin. Takes a look on the inside, but backs out of it. Has to try again the next lap here, Eros Masciuli. So the gap in front. Michele is pretty close. He didn't need more that much, is he?
No, he got it down to 6.1 and it's back up to 6.9 with what, 8 laps to go. I wouldn't have expected his tyres or the gap's coming down again a little bit, so maybe it's just sector dependent. Let's have a look. I'm gonna have
looking
a
at the last laps, I mean, Journey Simicic's last lap, okay, just switched because he came across the finish line, but it was a 46.6. That was actually a tenth quicker than Michele D'Alessandro. So is Michele's tires already getting pounded, or is Journey just picking up the pace again?
Quite possibly. Oh, Masciuli is touching the back of Fran Lopez now. I should look away from this battle, really, for the sake of my health. Masciuli has a look at the inside, thinks better of it. I like that from a driver. No point diving there when you can just drive past a little later. Where's Lopez going? Oh, that pit lane's closed, but you very nearly opened it, young man.
Holy damn. That was Masciuli going to make the move. This time he's on the inside of front Lopez. But does he have the top speed? Doesn't have enough top speed. Oh, they make contact! Oh dear, Fred Lopez manages to save it. But, holy damn. Almost crashed it into the barrier on the end of Camel straight there. Fred Lopez, I don't know if it was his own fault. I'm gonna have to take a look at the replay for that. But that very nearly ended up in a massive crash. Let's take a look at the replay. Take a look from above. Here we go. Eris Masciuli and Fran Lopez. Was it Fran Lopez going to the right or Eris Masciuli going to the left? A little bit of both. But, wow, great save there from Fran Lopez to keep it out of the barriers.
I mean, this is the thing that I was mentioning, though. I mean, the guy's obviously got ability. I mean, to be able to save the car the few times he has today, the guy's got an ability. I think he just needs to tone it down a little bit. Someone needs to sort of take him under their wing and just, I don't know, help him on that next step, that next level. Because the guy's quick, there's no doubt in that. But there's a big difference. I mean, I've seen drivers this season and last season that I've even spoken to them. They'll say, I know if I go side by side with this guy, I don't even have to think about it. But then if you've got a guy that if I'm going side by side with him, if there's a grey area, all of a sudden it's a whole different ball game, and it can be very difficult for everybody involved in that respect.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. The gap in front is not closing in by that much. Johnny Simoncic just set a personal best sector 1, 2/10 quicker than Michele D'Alessandro did this lap. So I think it's starting to really fall to Journey's way now, and I think all he has to do now is just make sure he gets his laps done. He's only got 6 remaining. Get to the finish line, keep the pace going, and then the win is all yours as Francisco Lopez goes for a triple cut through the second sector. He's cut 3 corners of 3 corners that were there, so that's a new record for me. But wow, I'm just gonna stop noticing it, I think, and stop mentioning.
What I will say though is he's not crashed yet, Felix.
That's true. He's been able to keep the car pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
In a good way, but
Jos Araneda is very close to the back of De Wolde now. Both these guys on the option tyre as Adam Maguire into the pits. What on earth is he doing pitting on this lap?
Did he not take enough fuel? Did his tyres wear out? What has happened? Jos Araneda taking the look there on De Wolde now. Maybe trying to switch back here. No, doesn't really have the exit out of the bus stop. Maybe we'll try something into La Source. Wouldn't be the smartest move, EMO.
No, sorry, Adam Maguire. Sorry, Adam Maguire hadn't ran the prime tyre.
Wow. That is surprising. Was that a mistake on his end? Or...
I will guess so. Maybe it's the lack of practice. I mentioned the guy's obviously got natural talent.
Oh, Jos Araneda just took out De Wolde now. Holy damn, just in the slipstream, just rammed into the rear of De Wolde now, and De Wolde now straight out of their ways. What happened there? Let's take a look at the replay. Holy damn. Here we go, on board with Jos Araneda. No, wait. Here we go. On board with Jos Araneda. Once again, maybe a little bit of internet connection. Well, They're a long way from each other, but holy damn. It's just a small contact here on the replay that pushes the Wald Nell. It's just his fault. He just moves over too late. Slams the Wald Nell with 40 kilometers an hour into the wall. No way he's gonna save that. Loses his front wing, has suspension damage, out of the race. That's a great bummer for the Wald Nell.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously Josh trying to use all of the slipstream there, just got a little bit too close. Let's see, Masciuli, Lopez, a bit of a gap between them, but still close enough that something could happen in these last few laps. Maguire, after his pit stop, has come out in 9th place, and he's got Valeriano right up his gearbox. Valeriano, I think, on old option tyres. I will have to just check whether he's made a recent stop. Because it looks like Maguire's pulling away from him on the prime tyre and hardly any fuel in the car. No, it is old option tyres for Valeriano, so yeah, Maguire able to drive away on brand new primes.
Right, so just 4 laps remaining in this race. Michele D'Alessandro has a gap of 6.2 seconds in front of him to Jurnej Simoncic. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. His option tires will be really starting to wear down now. And the tires of Jurnej Simoncic, as you said, Dave, they just keep on going. And the fuel loads, they're probably roughly the same for both drivers. So coin is really starting to fall towards Jurnej Simoncic.
Yeah, I mean, Simoncic has done a fantastic job keeping his lap times ever so close to D'Alessandro's. I mean, D'Alessandro's been pretty much consistently into the 146s, but as the stint has gone on, it's like 46.0, 46.3, 46.4, 46.6, 46.7, 47. So the lap times are just getting that little bit slower, and as you mentioned, I think it's just got to that point where the option tyres now won't be faster than the primes, as Adam Maguire on prime tyres pops in the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, of course, won't have much fuel in the car now, probably not more than 30 liters, not even more than 20, I think, so almost qualifying times he can set now, of course.
I'm going to defend every driver though that's looked at that and gone, oh my god, look at how quick that is. It has got 44 laps of real road on the track. That makes a difference.
Yeah,
that makes a difference. Before we all decide, you know what, I can't compete. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a ridiculously quick lap time in the race.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'm looking at the gaps between the drivers and I'm like, okay, where is there a battle? And it looks like there is 2 drivers that are kind of close-ish, but I'm not sure if I really want to go and look at that one. Eros, Masciuli and Lopez, no, actually the gap is too big. Sadler and Maguire. Maguire, as you know, just pretty fastest lap of the race, so he's catching up to Sadler.
I think that won't be a great battle, because team boss versus very quick driver. I think James won't make it too difficult on him. But let's see, maybe James decides to stand his ground.
Knowing James, if he's able to talk to Adam, he's probably sat there saying, if you want it, you're going to have to overtake me. Come on, come on. If you're faster, come on, show it. Show your boss what you can do. But no, having said that, I mean, obviously go speed and go speed. I don't think we'll see anything too drastic. I am touching wood. No cheeky comments, folks. It's just an English phrase to avoid bad luck.
Alright, so Maguire on the back of his team boss, coming up to our Rouge. I think it won't be a very difficult move for the Irish driver, I believe. Maguire, right?
Yep, you are correct.
Alright, here we go. Top speed of Maguire actually isn't as good as the top speed of James Sadler. So he actually has to make an effort now.
Well, maybe I was right. Maybe Sadler is going to make him work for it. But those prime tyres, I mean, being brand new and only having a couple of laps worth of fuel in, you could absolutely tear them apart and not even think about them, which is what Adam's done for the couple of laps he's been on them already. Whereas, I mean, James, he'll be quite comfortable and he'll know exactly what his tyres are capable of right now, you would think. And just want to quickly mention as well, D'Alessandro has got the gap down to under 5 seconds, but I think it's just too late.
Oh, yeah, 2 laps remaining now. If he suddenly finds 2.5 seconds a lap and then also can get past Jonas Simon just before the end of the lap, I would be quite surprised by that. But who knows? This race has given us almost everything so far. Let's go, Michele. Go do it. Let's show me.
Two very different lines through the bus stop chicane there from Sadler and Maguire. I mean, both of them taking plenty of speed through there. Sadler, big lock up into La Source. That'll give Maguire a little bit of confidence. I think he's closer on this occasion than he was on the previous. But as you said, Felix, if he hasn't got the straight line speed, he's not going to be able to make the move. It's just simply one of those things.
There we go. In the slipstream. He's just not pulling. He's not getting closer. Is he actually lifting? I
think he might be lifting because he went to about 330 and then it dipped to 326. Yeah. So maybe he's just holding station. I wouldn't say that there's a team order.
Yeah, James was saying, if you pass me, you're fired.
Well, no.
Yeah.
I'm saying nothing. It could simply be, look, we're both on camera. Let's just show off our car.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, got to mention, I mean, Maguire is in, I believe, as a reserve driver. And, I mean, teams, I wouldn't necessarily say they have to do what their bosses tell them, but obviously there are structures to teams and things like that. I mean, it's not like a league that you just turn up as a driver, join, and as a driver on your own. Obviously, there are teams and structures to those teams. We're on the last lap, Felix. I think
we are. So let's keep an eye out on Michele D'Alessandro. Has he managed to do 2.5 seconds a lap? Unfortunately, no. Disappointed in you, Michele. Not really. Driven a good race. Unfortunately, didn't really fall his way at the end. Maybe not the best strategy, but just a very well executed strategy by Jonas Simonic. 4.6 seconds is the gap here. Now I'm gonna go on board with Jonas Simonic, watching him go through the second sector for the last time, turning it into the right-left chicane here. Getting on the power again. Is he gonna go for a personal best lap? Or is he just gonna cruise it home to the finish line? Coming out of Stavelo up to the Blanchimont for the last time.
Well, today he has done exactly what he needed to do. Pole position wasn't the important part. It's where the points are scored that is, and that's exactly what Jonas Simonic has made the most of. His two title contenders not finishing this race means that Jonas Simonic gains 25 points on the both of them. What a result for Ghost Speed.
Yeah, a great race we've seen here. Tactical strategy working out for Jonas Simonic. Michele D'Alessandro finishing in second position after he started from the pole position, but didn't really manage to keep it after turn 1. Already got past before the end of the first sector. Daniel Kish, great effort from
Florian Becker's is he gonna lose a position right on the line? Oh, nearly.
How close is that gap? Let's keep an eye out on the live timing there, but holy damn, that was really close with Eros Mashui. Good spot there. And as I was just gonna say, Risto Capet, good effort from him to finish in 4th. Football Racing will be happy with that, or Football Motorsport will be happy with that as well. Florian Becker taking home some points for flag-to-flag racing after his teammate Martin Gosby unfortunately had to DNF pretty early on in the race. Then Eros Mashouli just finishing in 6th. Francisco Lopez made it to the line. Maybe for some people that is a surprise. In 7th place actually, so well, good amount of points for him. James Sadler kept the 8th position in front of his teammate Adam Maguire. Then rounding up the top 10, it is Giordano Valeriano for NetRex taking home the last point. Then in 11th, Jos Araneda, Dominic Vasiensko. Alright, so I think we're back. Some technical difficulties with my PC. rFactor crashed again and it seemed like OBS had a little incident as well. We should be back live, but let's keep an eye out on that.
In a day where the race has been full of incidents, it's no surprise that the game has incidents as well. But I mean, what a race we've had. I mean, okay, from my perspective, Felix, and from your perspective as commentators, we try and be neutral. It's not always easy to do. But having said that, I'm trying to look at that race in a neutral way. What a race it was. It had everything. It had great overtakes. It had not so great overtakes. But that's part of racing sometimes. I mean, it's been an absolutely fantastic race to commentate on. And as we were mentioning, I think when YouTube went down, I mean, the drivers have put on a fantastic display of their capabilities, the likes of Michele D'Alessandro, Yuni Simoncic, Daniel Kish. I mean, even Risto Capek, great result for him. And the new guys that you mentioned, Dominic Vasienko and Jan von de Heide, unfortunately, didn't finish, but a good showing from a lot of guys out there today.
Yeah, most certainly. It was a very good show. It was a lot of fun to watch as well, and I'm just looking out in the TeamSpeak if there is anyone that wants to join for an interview. Actually, we've got Michele D'Alessandro, I believe. So let's see if we can get him in here. He is in here indeed. So hello, Michele. How was your race? First of all, congratulations, of course, on your 2nd place position, pole position as well. Great job.
Thank you. Well, the race wasn't that bad. I practiced only the last 2 days, so I couldn't expect more. Journey was too fast today. He did an amazing pace. He did an amazing quali lap, and I beat him only because we worked together. But he was too fast for us today. He really deserved the win today.
Yeah, great to hear that from you. I mean, he did drive a great race, no mistakes that at least that we spotted from him. But yeah, you decided on your strategy to do the the prime stint as your 2nd stint and not a double option stint. Why was that? Or any specific reason for that?
It was planned to do that strategy. In our server, option weren't that fast. After 5 laps, we were dropping to 46 high, and so for us, prime were faster. Then in the race, we realized, at least I realized, that after 6, 7, 8 laps, I was still doing mid-high 46. And it was planned to do prime 2nd stint. I thought Simoncic was going to do the same, but he was more clever than us, because I lost time also with this strategy, because I had to fight with Lopez that I didn't expected.
You're not the only one that had that situation.
No. Lopez had a lot of fights today, and I think he will still have a lot of fights in
the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
It was nice today. I had some problem in Sector 3 with curves, but it was fine. I think even with the same strategy as Simoncic, I don't think I would have won. He was too fast for me, and I wasn't fast enough to overtake him in track with his insane top speed. So he really deserved to win.
Michele, I've got a quick question for you. I mean, obviously, fantastic pole position. But I'm just curious, once you knew that you'd got that pole position, Were you thinking, oh yeah, great, or were you thinking, oh, I'm probably not going to be in first by the time we get to the end of the straight on the first lap?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Okay, shit. I won't be P1. I knew that to be P1, at least I had to have 2 or 3 cars between me and SimRacing, which is top speed. And we had 2, but unluckily, Keith didn't have a great start. So when I saw turn 1, he was right behind me. I said, "Okay, good luck. See you, see you at the end of the straight."
Well, great stuff. Apologies for his language, but he has just finished a great race. I mean, I hopefully you'll watch this race back, Michele. Although you probably don't feature on it as much as you would like, but I would just say you've had an absolutely fantastic event today, and I mean it is a bit of a shame that you weren't able to turn it into a victory. That is for certain. But I think you can be ever so proud of the way you managed to get yourself through to second place there. And I mean that final 10 laps of trying to hunt down Yerny, as frustrating as it was, I can imagine it was still quite fun.
I didn't get the question. Sorry.
The last 10 laps.
The last 10 laps, I knew he was managing because I saw his times. He was doing one fast lap, he was doing one slow lap. The win was his. So it was quite easy for him just to finish and to win. And that's what he did. Manage, not cut probably, and go to the end of the race.
Yeah. Well, Yerny Simičić has actually joined us. So, Yerny, how could you be so cruel as to do one fast lap, one slow lap, one fast lap to him in those last 10 laps?
Yeah, well, at the end, yeah, as Michelle said, I was just trying to keep the gap above like 6 seconds because I knew that he will have like 4 or 5 really fast laps and then we will be on the same pace, and I was just trying to do some good laps and still stay a little bit on the pace, but yeah, it would be nonsense to push like crazy.
Good stuff. At the start of the qualifying session on the broadcast, I mentioned about potential different car setups between yourself and Daniel Kish, and unfortunately, Michele, I kind of bypassed you at that phase. And Yerny, I was mentioning about how you seem to be quicker in sector 1 and sector 3, but Kish was about half a second faster in sector 2, and you both ended up with very nearly the same lap times. Was that on your mind going into qualifying, or was there part of you that was thinking it doesn't matter if I'm not on pole, second or third is fine by me?
Well, it was classic Spa, some on low wings, some on high wings, but I wasn't really thinking. I mean, it's obvious that they would get better sector 2, but I was just trying to do well as good lap as possible to get pole, because I knew that even unlike Twister guys, if I had pole, I could stay ahead of them even at the end of Camel Straight. But yeah, I mean, though when I saw the 0.5 that they were doing in sector 1, I knew exactly what was going to happen, so at the end I just missed out. But yeah, GS top speed for the win.
Great stuff. Felix, any questions for Yerny?
Well, I mean, you must be feeling pretty good. This is your, what is it, 4th win out of the top of my head?
It is actually 3rd, I think.
3rd.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
First was Singapore, then this year Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just feel a little bit sorry for what happened to Mo. He had some technical issues or something, and yeah, I mean, ACR guys are doing other stuff, so
yeah.
I knew it wouldn't be that hard. Also, yeah, with my top speed, I knew I just have to be P1 after first lap and I'm safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, fun fact, I decided about my rear wing like 1 month ago before doing first lap, and I haven't changed it after that.
Wow.
But somehow got really nice balance. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations on the win, and thank you for joining us here.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for broadcast.
Yeah, no problem, my pleasure. I believe we still have a third driver here with us in the commentary booth, and that driver is Daniel Kish. Welcome.
Hey guys. Hey guys.
So your race, how did it go?
I just missed out on pole by 0.002 of a second.
Yeah.
And then I had a pretty poor launch, as Michele said. So, Jerne immediately overtook me, and from then on, I was just trying to stay close to them, and then do something in the second or third stint. But then Lopez arrived from nothing, and then he could pass me as well, and then I was stuck behind him for the first stint, and I was going to do prime like I did, and when I saw that Lopez and Capet pitted quite early, I knew that they were going to undercut me. So I was just trying to manage the tires in the second stint, because I knew that they were coming back to me at the end, and then in the last stint I just had to cruise in to get P3. Probably this was the maximum from this race.
Yeah, why did you actually choose to go for that prime stint in the end? I mean, looking at the amount of laps you did, it should be possible to do a 14-lap stint on options, right? You did it as your first stint too.
Yeah, I know. I was safe basically, so I knew that Michele was 4 seconds ahead. I couldn't threaten him at all, so there was no point. And then Capet was like 3 or 4 seconds behind me, so I knew I just had to cruise in. And I chose the primes to, I can easily manage them and make sure I'm not cutting and I'm not having a drop off at the end of the stint. So that's why I chose primes. I just didn't have to do anything in the last stint. I just had to wait for the race to end.
Yeah, great stuff. Dave, you got anything?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. Hi, Daniel. Well done. I can imagine a little bit of, I don't know, perhaps frustration from yourself at only coming away with third place there. But there's a couple of things that I want to pick up on. I mentioned to Jerne about during the practice session and how close you were to the lap times that Jerne was doing in practice. And did that play on your mind going into qualifying at all? Because I saw you and Jerne time after time very consistent on your laps, but there was just that fraction of a pace disadvantage.
So when we saw his top speed and pace in practice, we knew that we would have a chance on him even without the help of Mo. So we knew that we could do a 0.0 or a 0.1 in quali, but when he did his 0.9, I was pretty sure that I would never be able to do that. So I couldn't have beaten him without Mo's help.
Well, that was the other thing that I was going to mention. At what point did you decide you were going to do the slipstream? And also, what was your thoughts when it didn't quite go right?
Yeah, so we decided it during practice on the server, because we saw his top speed, we saw his sector 1, and we knew that we were going to gain enough in sector 2 because he's beating us in sector 3 as well. So we knew that we had to do something, and Mo was kind enough to offer his help to us, and then he was giving us the slipstream. Yeah, he failed it once, and then I had to abort my lap, but yeah, that's part of the game.
I like that. I'm sure people used to say if you hit the back of another car, it's your fault, but it was definitely Mo's fault. He was too slow. The other thing that I was going to mention was you mentioned about being stuck behind a certain driver, and I mentioned about a certain incident that happened. So I'm interested to get your thoughts. Your thoughts at the time that it happened, and your thoughts about it now. You're following a driver into Les Combes. They mess up the corner, they go off the track massively, they stay ahead of you. After the next corner, you make a movement that says, I'm not happy. That's how I translated that movement. So what was your thoughts at that time, and what are your thoughts as a racer as to that kind of scenario?
Well, it's tough because I saw him overtaking Gosby off the track before, so he could... I saw that he caught Lecombe earlier as well, so he passed Martin
Not
there.
Once. Didn't do it once.
Yeah. And then when he attacked me and then got the position, I saw that he was cutting. So he was like cutting twice every lap. There were laps where he cut 3 times, and I was like, "What the hell is going on? Why is he doing this?" And then when his tires started to drop, and I could get closer again, I attacked him, and he was defending position with cutting Lecomte again, and then he wasn't giving it back. Yeah, I thought it was unacceptable, and then I knew that he wasn't a threat for me in the race because by lap 15 he was already facing a 1-minute time penalty for cutting anyway. So. But he was still holding me up.
Yeah. I mean, I've not brought it up, and if Fran's watching this, I haven't brought it up to bash you over the head, mate. You fly too high in the sky for me to do that, trust me. But no, I've not done it for you to be... the reason I've brought it up, Daniel, was I wanted the viewers to hear how frustrated you would have been in that situation as a driver, because when you get that frustrated, it can be off-putting and it can affect your race. So I think you did very, very well to deal with that scenario and see the overall picture of you're going to finish ahead of him.
Yep.
So on that, very well done.
Yeah,
thank you.
Great stuff. Congratulations on the 3rd place.
Oh, and can I mention one more thing?
Sure.
Good luck to the guys in WFG. All the FSR guys.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of guys. I think a total, what is it, 5, 6, 7? Maybe?
Yeah, there are plenty of them.
I don't
know
FSR drivers. I think our lovely race director will be happy about that. Anyway, thanks again, Daniel, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And on that note, I think it is time to end this race, isn't it, Dave?
It definitely is. We look forward to Hungary next time out. Complete opposite end of the spectrum. Going to be difficult to overtake. Going to be high aeros. Going to be a lower speed. But going to be just as much action, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. So make sure to tune in 2 weeks' time. It will be the 9th of September. Back here again on Formula Sim Racing on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. Also, like us on Facebook and follow us there for all the news and updates that are coming. If you missed the pre-race live show from our friends at simnews.tv, make sure to take a look at that, because I will be doing that for sure, because I haven't seen it for fully yet. So I will be doing that, and I believe it was a quite interesting show. Anyway, Dave, have you got anything to add here before we end?
No, I think we've had a great day of racing. It's been very exciting. It's been an absolute buzz to watch. It's going to be interesting to see how things pan out over the coming days. And to the viewers, come back and then enjoy Hungary. And finally, well done to all of the drivers. Congratulations. Yep.
Congratulations, and thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all in 2 weeks' time. Until then, take care.